Welcome to Undiet Your Coaching Practice podcast. I'm Stephanie Dozier, clinical nutritionist, certified intuitive eating counselor, and creator of the Going to Beyond the Food method. And after a 25-year dieting career, I decided to say hell no to diet culture and undiet my life, which also included my coaching practice. I'm on a mission to help all coaches undiet not only their life, but their coaching business. If you want to throw down diet culture, you're in the right place. Ready, sisters? Let's do this. Hello, my dear sister colleague, and we are back. I'm so excited to do season 2 with you. Who knew this was going to happen? I didn't even know. I randomly started to put out those pro podcasts, and I got all this amazing feedback from you. So it became a series and now went to season 2. I'm so excited about this. And thank you very much for all the amazing feedback, because clearly this is needed. So we're back with season 2. It's going to be another 8-part series. So here's what's in front of us for the next 8 podcast episodes. So we're going to talk about the anatomy of the NonDiet approach. Next is going to be like a massive big behind the scene. What I wish I knew before I started my anti-diet business journey. This is my second business since I graduated from nutrition school. And these are the things that no one told me. But I'm going to tell you so you know how to deal with them before you even start your business journey in the NonDiet approach. The next episode is going to be 3 steps to being a confident non-diet coach or practitioner. Next, I'm going to bring you in with my mentees, my non-diet mentorship program. I'm going to bring some of them on the show, and we're just going to have a general discussion, and they're going to share their success stories. So we're going to bring them on and we're going to chat with them. And next episode, we're going to have a guest expert. My friend Stephanie Long is going to come in. She's a business coach in the holistic field, and she's going to come in and talk to us about how to get started in our non-diet practice, like what to do when you have nothing, like no business, no practice, what to do first. This has been a request from you all, so I think you're going to be very excited to hear Stephanie there. The 6th episode is going to be a really vulnerable one. Breaking free from body image struggle as a health professional. This is a big one. So I'm going to talk about a lot of mindset and emotional stuff on this one. Episode 7, how to maximize your mindset for business success. That was another one when I did a survey with people that are professional in my community. Some of them have started their business and they're like fully realizing how mindset is like 70% of their results. So I'm going to coach you and give you some ways into which for you to improve your mindset so you can go and help women transform their life and make money. That's my first step here. You have to change your mindset around money, because you making money means that you're helping more women. Here's the tip. Now, the last episode is going to be a rapid fire listener Q&A. As I mentioned earlier, I did a survey about a month ago with my community of professionals, and I have 25 questions they wanted me to answer. I'm going to try to answer them in less than 1 minute each. This is going to be something really hard for me to do, but I'm committed to do the work. So let's get into today's episode, and we're going to talk about the anatomy of the non-diet approach. Because this is a brand new way, the non-diet approach is a brand new way of looking at an individual's health. And we'll talk here in the context of women's health, because 99% of you are women and we work with women, right? So not ditching out diets, not ditching out meal plan, not putting people on restrictive diets is a novel concept. Like, we have to recognize that what we do or what you want to do in the future in your practice is brand spanking new. Nobody does that. Like, we're an infime small number of practitioners. So because of that, there is a lot of confusion about what the non-diet approach is. To be honest with you, just a short 8 years ago, 9 years, sorry, not 8, 9, when I graduated from school and opened my business, I did not open a non-diet approach to health and nutrition because I had no clue it even existed. I opened a traditional nutrition clinic with traditional way of helping women. And then my eyes got open to things not working. And I had to go and search and dig to collect information and training on this non-diet approach to health. So I understand the confusion both from you as professional and also from your client. So as you're ventured into this field of being a non-diet practitioner, you have to be committed to education. Not only education for you as a practitioner, but educating your future client. Because it's not like they can flip open a magazine and find articles on the non-diet approach. No, it's barely talked about in most social media network, doesn't talk about it on TV at all, and let alone the magazine. So people have no idea. That's actually a month worth of training in my mentorship program is an educational funnel where you have to structure your business to educate people because they're not going to buy anything from you if they don't even understand what you do. So in that context, I thought this episode would help us level set what the non-diet approach is. So we're going to do the basic, what is a non-diet approach? We're going to talk about the core value of the non-diet approach, the kind of the step or the processes or the pillars of the non-diet approach, and then where to get trainings or certification. Ready? So what is the non-diet approach? The non-diet approach, if I could make it simple, is the exact opposite of dieting. What does that mean? And I get it. It's so foreign. You're like, well, if I don't diet, if I'm a nutritionist, I don't diet, or I don't teach my client how to restrict food, how to eliminate food, how to do cleanses, how to do detox, then what the heck am I going to do with them? Bingo. That's what the non-diet approach is. That blank space in your mind, that's what it is. The non-diet approach recognizes that food, eating, and body weight aren't a problem to fix. The non-diet approach is a weight-neutral approach to health that instead of focusing on weight-oriented outcome, focuses on all the other factors that can impact a person's health beyond their body weight, beyond their behavior around food. In other words, the ultimate goal of the non-diet approach is for your client to become the expert at their own body. The goal is for them to not work with you for the rest of their life. It's for you to teach them how to engage with their own body so they can support their body towards health. I have my own methodology. It's called the Going Beyond the Food method. It's a proprietary approach that I created over the last 6 years of chasing information around, going to different training, going to different summits and places to get information about the non-diet approach to health. Because currently, this is not something you can go and get a certification in a college, in a university. There's no training. There's 3 of us at this point in the world that I know of that train other people in this approach. 3 little people, 3 women, as a matter of fact, but that's it. So the Going Beyond the Food method is my own proprietary methodology that I use for the last 6 years with my client that I've used personally to change my own approach to food, health, and nutrition as well. That's what we're going to cover today. So here's the core value that the non-diet approach or the going to beyond the food method will bring forward, or that you have to bring forward in your own practice if you want to integrate it. Number one core value: diets don't work. Now, if it's your first time listening to me or to this podcast, somebody sent this podcast to you and you're like, what is she talking about? That's impossible. Diet worked. People lose weight. People do lose weight on diets. It is true, but it is short term, right? It is demonstrated that within 1 to 5 years of any diet, no matter what it is, keto, low fat, low carb, low calorie, people will regain all of their lost weight, and in majority of the cases, more. That's a fact. Furthermore, the intention of dieting or losing weight was to get a better health outcome. It has been demonstrated that diet not only don't provide this improved health outcome, but actually cause more health issue due to many other factors beyond food. One of them being stress related to restriction, stress related to over-exercise. A third point that I want to make, and then I'm going to send you to a place where you can get all kinds of studies around this fact if it's novel for you. Studies have shown that people, when we look at health factor beyond body weight, right? For an example, blood marker like CRP, blood pressure, among many, no matter where people are on the BMI, except the extreme end, either very thin or very, I don't want to use the word overweight, but very high on the BMI, like the extreme end of both, for 90% of the people that are in the middle range of the BMI, the health status is the same. That you are within, quote, normal range of the BMI or higher end of the BMI when you look at health marker beyond body weight and BMI, obviously, people are at the same health status no matter what their BMI is. Okay? So that's the preset, that's the grounding factor of the non-diet approach. Now, if it's your first time around here, you're going to go to the show notes, okay? And you're going to click through an article that I have there that's called Health Beyond Dieting. This article that I wrote is filled with studies demonstrating what I just spoke here. So that's for all my little scientific brain here. But that's the core foundation of the non-diet approach, obviously. 2, the non-diet approach focus on the why instead of the what. Right? What being a behavior, for an example, the eating habits. The non-diet approach will not tell people how to change their behavior, or what behavior to change and what to do instead. It's going to wonder, why has this person expressing this behavior? We're going to look for the why. Third core value of the non-diet approach is compassion versus fear. Meaning that the non-diet approach helps you as a practitioner and your client to approach health from a place of love instead of fear. Instead of threatening people, just like the whole BMI model and health, right? Threatening people if they're higher BMI, something bad's going to happen to them. The non-diet approach will then go with health behavior from a place of love by understanding why the behavior in there and then healing that root cause element, which majority of the time is thoughts and mindset, and encouraging, we'll talk about that in just a minute, body respect. So instead of making food choices in fear of respecting a diet, we're going to make food choices in respect for our body and how our body feels, behave, and is supported with our food choices. The next core value of the non-diet approach is all humans are worthy and all bodies are worthy. The non-diet approach is grounded in the fact that everyone and every expression of human are equal and worthy. In that, the non-diet approach fully recognizes and helps heal the negative health effect of discrimination on the individual. So the non-diet approach, by its nature, is anti-racist, anti-fatphobic, anti-sexist, anti-transphobia, anti-classist, non-binary, etc., etc., etc. We cannot do this work holding prejudice and discrimination against any human being. So that's the core value of the non-diet approach. Now, let's talk about kind of the pillars or the step. Like, what do you do as a practitioner with your client if you're not weighing them, if you're not measuring them, if you're not telling them which food to cut out of their diet, how much exercise you do? That's the first question practitioner asks me, like, what am I going to do? Well, there we go. The first place you do it, the first thing you start with is investigation of beliefs and history of dieting. So with the help of assessment tool, so in my program where I train health professional, we have specifically designed assessment tool for the non-diet approach, right? So we have an assessment for food behavior. We don't do a food journal in a traditional way. What we do is instead, we do an assessment on the food behavior, why people eat different. We do an assessment around body image, how people engage with their body image. Instead of weighing and measuring, we assess how people engage with their body image. And we have another neat tool that's called the Dieting Impact Inventory. With this assessment, we go in and understand how much collateral damage in the life of the individual dieting has done, because it does a ton of damage. That we think about relationship, that we think about self-esteem, self-worth. We go in with this assessment and assess the collateral damage. So we have a holistic view of the current situation of the individual in their relationship with food, body image, weight, and health. And then we sit with the individual and have a in-depth conversation about their dieting history. How did they get to this point? How did they get to the place where they were struggling? And this is where we have a very important conversation with the individual that it's not their fault that they're struggling with food. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing broken with them. The reason why they're struggling is because of diet culture. And that's very important to do this with our client, because if we don't, they will continue to approach their problem with food, body, weight, and health like dieting has taught them. Something is wrong with them, not with the program. We have to reverse that. The second step is unlearning diet culture. Now, if you don't know what diet culture is, in the show note, there will be a link to an article where I detail what diet culture is. You will want to read that if you don't understand this term. So the second level is mindset and unlearning diet culture. We teach our practitioner a tool to do that. It's called self-coaching. It's a cognitive behavior therapy tool that helps practitioner teach a structured approach for people to change the way they think, the structure of their thinking, and then change their thoughts about themselves, about foods, and so forth. The third pillar, the third step, is attunement and reconnection. So now that the client has a better understanding of why they're struggling and they know they have to reprogram the way they think, we now get them to reconnect with their body, their innate body sensation. This is the power. This is achieved for us the way we teach it in our program through mindfulness, a variation of tool around breath and meditation, where you help your client be in their body, the thing they've been avoiding for so long, right? Throughout their entire dieting career, people aren't connected to their body. So we bring them back in their body using mindfulness tool so they can start feeling the sensation in their body. Mainly, we start with hunger, fullness, and satisfaction so they can become, with time, intuitive eater. As you can understand, NonDiet Approach teach a new way of engaging with food, right? If it's not dieting, it is intuitive eating. The next pillar is emotional intelligence and processing, right? So our clients have a stronger mindset, they're unlearning diet culture, they're reconnecting with their body. We need to teach them something called emotional intelligence, help them process the overwhelming emotion that they have in their life, in their body, into something that they can learn from. So we're changing their approach to their feelings and their emotion from avoidance and overwhelm to understanding and curiosity. That's a big principle of the NonDiet approach, right? Curiosity over judgment. And then we move into the second to last block pillar, empowerment and relearning. Remember at the beginning, I said that the NonDiet approach has a purpose to make our client the boss of themselves, of their own body, of their own health. Now that we've replaced their relationship to food and body and health, we've given them a stronger mindset, we taught them the tool, they process their emotion in a much more efficient way, then we go back to the place of them reclaiming their power, right? And we do that at first with food. There's a process called habituation that we use that comes from the world of intuitive eating, where we take all the fear foods, the food that people think they, quote, have no control over, into a very specific process. We reclaim our power over this food. This is where the magic happens. If you read testimonials on many of my program, you will see that women will say, it changed my life, right? And some people challenge me on that. They're like, well, you're a nutritionist. How can you change someone's life? That makes no sense. You talk about food. Well, here's how it changes people's life. When people reclaim their power over something that they felt their entire life they had no control over, aka food, aka their body, aka the mean voice in their head. And gradually and slowly, through the tool we teach them and the practice and the coaching they receive from us, yes, they reclaim their power over their fear food, but then they start expanding that power to other part of their life. And that's why the NonDiet approach is so freaking powerful. Because naturally, without the practitioner needing to do anything, the individual will naturally start being empowered in their whole life. It's a beautiful thing to see. And the last step of the NonDiet approach is respect and liberation. This is when we put kind of the bow on the package, where we rebuild the relationship we have or the client has with themselves and their body from a grounding space of respect. We do that by healing or giving the client tool around body image. It's called body neutrality. It's an approach to body image that helps them gain respect for their body, not love. I'm very clear here. We don't teach body love. We don't teach body positivity. That is not part of the NonDiet approach. That's social media stuff. Here we're in a therapeutic setting, and that is not an effective way of healing body image. We teach body neutrality because that leads to body respect. Body respect leads to improved health promoting behavior, not from a place of, oh my God, I've gained weight, I'm going to die, but from a place of, I need to take care of that body. I live in that body every minute of the day. My body is my best friend. How can I support my body so it can support me? Do you see the difference in the narrative here? That's the last pillar of the non-diet approach. We also teach that with the parameter of the health at every size approach created by Dr. Linda Bacon. So this is it. This is the non-diet approach, the steps and the core value. As I mentioned earlier, where can we get training on that? So there's not a lot of spaces. There's some of us, like I know of 3 people that teaches the non-diet approach in the world. There's Fiona in Australia, there's Stephanie in Canada, and there's Isabel in the United States. Why? Because it's brand new. It's a revolutionary approach to health for women. And men as well. But most of us are teaching it, all 3 of us are teaching it in the context of women. If you want to get started on this, I have a non-diet professional starter pack. It's totally free. You can go to the show notes and then you can click intake form, right? The non-diet professional starter pack. It's a bunch of intake form and it's emails that I'm sending you over a period of 2 months that are going to introduce you to this approach and teach you some notions so you can then make a decision if you want to integrate that in your practice. We also have this podcast here. So I've been running this podcast for 4 years now, and you will find over 250 episodes teaching about the non-diet approach. If you already know, like, this is for me, and I want to take my practice in this direction, my training program is called the Going Beyond the Food Mentorship Program, and it lasts 6 months. And I take you through all the pillars one by one, online videos, booklets, coaching calls, and one-on-one session with me so you can really have a grasp on the approach to take with your client. And we also teach you notion to build the business with the non-diet approach, because the reality is the non-diet approach is not covered by insurance. 95% of the insurance don't cover this approach. So you have to have a private practice. Therefore, you have to run a business. So when we decide to integrate non-diet in our practice, we also need to understand how to run a business. Otherwise, this will not work. Now, discussion may be different in 20 years from now, but right now, that is the way into which you can practice through private practice. So you gotta build a business. So that's why when we open our mentorship program, we knew we had to put business skills in our training. Otherwise, you wouldn't be out there helping women with the non-diet approach. So that's the Going Beyond the Food Mentorship Program. And again, the link to that will be in the show note. This is it. I hope this helped you. If you are a longtime listener and you're listening to this and you're a professional and you're like, I want more of my colleague to know about this, either like send them this podcast episode or send them the link to get the freebies, right? The non-diet professional starter pack. And then let me educate them on the email to slowly and gradually get this information in people's mind. So I'll see you in the next episode, which is going to be about all the things I wish I knew before I started my anti-diet business. You're not going to want to miss this. I love you, sister, and I'll see you in the next episode. Ready to shed diet culture from your practice and help more clients do the same? Awesome. We've got 3 resources to get you started. Simply go to stephaniedodier.com/pro series, all in one word, and access our 3 free training classes that are currently available. We also have a free PDF guide to intuitive eating, an article about the NonDiet Approach. We also offer a variety of paid programs throughout the year to support you in your journey to undiet your coaching practice. Join us at stephaniedode.com/pro series, and I'll see you on the other side.